We're going to get started in just a minute, but I would like you, please, to take a second and silence your cell phone. We do not need any additional music playing while the bells are playing. My particular ringtone sounds like bells, and they may not go along with what we're ringing. So if you don't mind taking just a second and silence your cell phone, that would be appreciated. If you can get it to ring exactly at the same time in rhythm and pitch as the bells, go right ahead. But otherwise, just silence it, please. And y'all have your cell phone silenced too, right? Awesome. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. This is our annual spring concert, and I really appreciate your joining us here this evening. I don't know about you all, but there are times when I just feel that the world around me is too much. It's too much stuff, too many things happening, too much division and clamor and stress, and it's just too much. So we're going to offer you an hour of peaceful music. A lot of the pieces we're playing have a river theme, so you can imagine the sound of flowing water and streams and rivers and crashing waves at the ocean to help lower your blood pressure a little bit and calm your soul. So we've chosen some very calm pieces. Now, we don't want you to go to sleep, so there are a couple lively ones in there too. But by and large, this is a calm concert for our busy, busy lives. But before we start our concert, I have a story I want to tell you. Some of you may have noticed my license plate. I love handbells, in case you hadn't guessed. And a number of years ago, my sweet hubby, for Mother's Day, gave me a personalized license plate. And it says H, and then the ampersand sign, and bells. So when you sound it out, it says handbells. So it's pretty distinctive as to what I like. One time I reconnected with an old friend who was back in town, didn't know she was back in town, but she spotted my license plate and followed me around town until I stopped and jumped out of her car and said, I knew only Ann Snyder could have that license plate. And we're back in town. And so I had a chance to reconnect with her. Well, shortly around Thanksgiving time last year, I parked to go in a store, and right next to me parked another car, and a lady jumped out of the car quickly and said, I saw your license plate. Do you play handbells? And I said, yes, I play handbells. I direct a handbell choir. She said, oh, good. We belong to the Marathon Church in Easley, and a lot of years ago, we bought a set of, she says, I don't really know what to call them, but they have a flat plate, and you play them, and they make a nice sound. And we played them once and put them in a closet, and they've been gathering dust for the last 15 years. Do you know of anybody who might like to have them? And of course I went, me, 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 me. Yes, our choir would love to have them. So we missed each other's connection over the holidays. Finally got together at the Walmart parking lot one day and parked next to each other again, and she passed over these bell plates to me, and I paid her for them, and we were able to donate them to the church and have bell plates in our choir. Now, bell plates were designed mostly for children and seniors because they're very easy to ring, very easy to damp. They have a lovely wind chime type sound. And the way they were invented, they were first made in England. A metal worker dropped a piece of metal on a concrete floor, and it made a really rather pleasant sound. So he thought, well, I wonder if I could get this to be an instrument. And so he worked on it, finally came up with what are called bell plates. And they were made for a while, but they are not made anymore, so we are especially glad to have this 3-octave set of bell plates for our choir, and we're going to feature them in the first piece we play. And after the concert, I invite anyone who is interested to come up and try ringing a bell plate. It's about the easiest thing you will ever do because it takes very little effort to make them ring. So watch for the bell plates in this one. We are going to play at the beginning Sweet River, which is arranged by Carissa Dennis, and this is another one of these river ones. So just kind of close your eyes and you can feel the river running over the rocks and making a lovely sound as it calms you down. So thank you very much again for being here tonight, and we're going to get started. So did you hear Sweet River and Swing Low, Sweet Chariots and Steal Away? All in those ones combined with that lovely flowing um, eighth notes down underneath made it really, really lovely. When I need a little bit of calm, I almost always turn to music. And I don't want to listen to martial music or even sometimes jazz. I just want nice, quiet hymns, nice, calm piano music that will, again, lower my blood pressure and my heartbeat. And a lot of people turn to the hymns of the church to calm themselves, to reassure themselves. So when I started learning a little bit more about the next piece we're going to be doing, I'll Fly Away, I thought, oh, that's a spiritual that's been around forever, since the Civil War at least. It was written in 1929. I was very surprised at that. It was written by a man who did pick cotton on his father's farm in Oklahoma, and he kept having the image of being away from God, like being in prison, and finding God to be able to fly away, get out of his prison, and get closer to God. And so he wrote this particular hymn in 1929. The arranger, Tammy Waldrop, put this tune with Sweet By and By. So we have those two spiritual style hymns, but a much newer hymn than I was prepared to say. This is I'll Fly Away. I promised I wouldn't let you go to sleep. I have ringers with that one that say, "You've given me way too many bells." And they look a little bit frazzled sometimes because I give them too many bells to ring. Our next selection gives us back some calm. One of my favorite tunes, "Abide with Me." This one I also didn't know about the origin of. It was written by a young man named Henry Light. He was orphaned at the age of 9, and the local minister took him in. And even though the minister had 5 kids of his own, he not only took Henry in, he paid for his schooling. So Henry followed the minister's footsteps, attended Trinity College in Dublin, but he also liked to write poetry, and he won prizes at school for his poetry. He graduated in 1814, became an ordained minister in the Church of England. However, he kind of overworked himself taking care of the sick. He did not have very good health, so he had to stay in France for a while to help regain his health. But of course, he could not be idle, so while there, he also worked to take care of the sick and ended up making a lot of trips to France, to the south of France, to recover. He finally succumbed to tuberculosis, was not expected to live long, and he knew it. So at 45, way too young, he prepared a farewell speech to be delivered in his church on September 4th in 1847, and it included the poem of the lyrics of "Abide with Me." He passed away 10 weeks after preaching his final sermon. So that legacy he has left us with, the beautiful words of "Abide with Me," put to the music of William Henry Monk, and in this case arranged by Jason Krug, is his legacy to us, and we are still singing it almost 200 years later. Abide with me. couple people have solos in there with those F's sounding on the offbeats. It makes it really, really pretty. A lot of people, when they're looking for solace and quiet and calm, when they're ready to fight difficulty and take it on, seek the shadow of the cross. And a young woman named Elizabeth Clephane was no different from that. She was from Edinburgh and was most of her life also in frail health, lived in Edinburgh, and she and her sister spent their entire lives helping their poor and sick neighbors. The townspeople that she helped called her the Sunbeam. Wouldn't you like to be the sunbeam in somebody's life? I think that would be a good thing to be called. This song that we're going to play, Beneath the Cross of Jesus, was first published 3 years after her death. It's full of the comfort and the consolation that she offered to her neighbors. And one of our favorite arrangers, Susan Geschke, has written this arrangement, and it's going to feature the chimes on the melody partway through, so listen for the chimes to appear in this one, Beneath the Cross of Jesus. I especially like the part of that piece that says the shelter from the storm and from the burning of the noonday heat. Being someone who likes air conditioning better than heat, I particularly like that one. I found that a comfort physically and emotionally. Our next piece is going to make sure that you don't go to sleep. It's a little bit more cheerful arrangement by Judy Phillips and is a showcase for a lot of different handbell techniques. You'll see and you'll hear martellato lifts. Martellato just means striking the bell on the pad, and a lift means as soon as you strike it, you lift it up. So watch for that one. You'll hear it and you'll see it. The bass ringers, bravo for the bass ringers keeping up with everything with their mallets. We'll be playing a lot of bells with mallets like they did in I'll Fly Away. And then there'll be people doing a thumb damp, putting their thumb on the casting of the bell that gives it kind of a staccato percussive kind of sound. So they'll make that kind of plucking sound. So look for some of those techniques as you enjoy Holy Manna by Judy Phillips. Thank you very much. As I might have mentioned, license plate and all that kind of stuff, I really love handbells. I love learning more about them. I love directing them, and I love playing them. And as director, I don't get to play as much. So Gail Gorey has agreed to come up and direct this next piece. It is Well With My Soul, while I get a chance to play. So she's going to come on up and take care of directing this piece. So thank you, Gail. Just a little aside, Friday evening and Saturday evening, Gail, who plays with Carolina Bronze, is in a concert. So if you want particulars about place and time, let her know. Carolina Bronze is a community choir out of Greenville, handbell choir, and very, very good. So Gail's going to come and take the baton, or not baton, take the podium and let me play some.
I sure hope it is well with your soul. That's our next piece. It is well with your soul. It's written in a time of tragedy. Sometimes if you feel things are happening and you're in that belly of the whale and you just don't know which way is out, come talk to me. We've got a Savior that takes care of all of that. Enjoy. It is well with my soul, and yours too.
Thank you very much to Gail. That is one of my favorite. And if you have not Googled Hugh Bonneville doing It Is Well With My Soul with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and doing a dramatization of how that hymn came to be written, get your box of tissues and Google it, because it's just a beautiful, beautiful sight to behold and to hear. Because I like handbells so much and like being involved in them, I try to attend workshops whenever I can. And my sister, who I talked into ringing handbells many years ago, and she loves it too, often attends one with her choir, and I will go with her. Now, we spend several hours Friday evening rehearsing 5 or 6 pieces. Saturday, we have some technique workshops and some read and rings and about another 6 hours of practice. And near the end of the day, Saturday, we present our pieces to a concert, whoever wants to listen. And there will be anywhere between 12 and 15 choirs, the size of this one, or smaller, or larger. It may sound like torture to you, but I happen to love it. And one of the beautiful things about it is if I miss my notes, there are 12 other choirs there on the floor who will get it for me. So I don't have to worry quite so much about getting all of my notes, especially since I'm usually playing in a place I'm not used to playing. And so it's a wonderful thing, and I often hear and play music there that I really, really love. And so our final piece, which we have not played in church before, so this is going to be brand new to your ears, is one of those. It's called Peace Like a River. See, we're keeping the peace and the river theme going. But woven in there is the little tune, Dona Nobis Pacem. Lord, give us peace. So listen for that little tune to appear through there. If you want to, just kind of close your eyes and pretend you're tubing on a quiet river or just floating on a little raft on a river. Listen for that, Lord, give us peace, which that is the prayer that we all pray every day. And see if this peace will help you receive some calm, some quiet, some peace in this very hectic world. This is Peace Like a River. So, do you have peace like a river in your soul? And are you offering that prayer, God, give us peace? I hope we've helped get you in that frame of mind tonight. A big thank you to the very hard-working ringers behind me. They put up with making me having them go over the same passage over and over till they get it right, and saying, "Oh, you don't have enough to ring in there. Let me give you something else to ring," and so forth. So thanks very much to them and to all of you for coming tonight. Thank you very much.
Now, I am not a poet, and I know it, but Hallmark is very good at saying what I should have said. There is a way of selfless serving that has a special greatness. Though often overlooked by man, it will never be overlooked by God. And we thank you, Anne, for all that you do.
Feel free to come up, say hello to the ringers, ring a bell plate, ring a bell, ring a chime. And if you excel in it, we start back up in August. And you can join us. So thank you very much.